Hi, and welcome to the Reiki from the Farm podcast, brought to you by me, Pam Allen-LeBlanc from Hidden Brook Farm. I am a scientist, a businesswoman, and a licensed Reiki Master teacher with the International Center for Reiki Training. Each week in this podcast, you'll be entertained as you learn about a wide variety of relevant Reiki topics, helping you become a more knowledgeable and effective Reiki practitioner. We caution you, though, this podcast may also dramatically improve your life, and we are so happy that you're here. Welcome to this week's podcast. I'm so excited because I am talking with Dr. Kate Flynn, who is a chiropractor, alignment coach, and Reiki Master, just about some of the incredible things that she's found in the course of her career. And I have a feeling that you're all going to be really interested. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and I can't wait to see what comes up because typically I have a plan and then what comes out sometimes looks different than that plan.
Yeah, I stopped making plans for
Smart.
the most part because I know I would go out to teach writing lessons or whatever I was doing, and I would have a plan, and the universe always had something else in mind. So,
Here we go.
so it's all very organic. But I am really excited to talk to you today about bridging the gap between our physical structure and energy flow. I think that's just so fascinating. So,
Very.
before we go too far, I just wanted to let people know what we have going on here at the farm. And Kate, if you have anything, I'll have you share that as well. It's not too late to join the Reiki business, grow your Reiki business, or start your Reiki business course. These are two different 6-month courses. We've already taught the first course. It was fantastic, but we have the recordings available. And so if you missed out on getting into it, just get in touch with us right away. You'll have enough time to get caught up. Probably by next month you wouldn't, but right now, if that's something that you missed, please feel free to join us. Also, I do have an in-person and online Reiki Masterclass happening at the farm this week, the 27th to 29th of April. And in May, we have Animal Reiki Level 1 and 2 in person and online at the farm outside of Fredericton, New Brunswick. And that's followed by some online evening classes the following 2 weeks with the Animal Reiki Master training. I also want to let you know it's not too early to sign up for our Campobello classes in August. I have all of my classes a full week of Reiki and followed by a Reiki Master class, Animal Reiki followed by Animal Reiki Master, and Animal Communication followed by the Animal Communication Master classes. And those are in person as well as online. But for those of you joining in person, we're going to be taking the full day Monday to just hang out and so that I can show you the island. We'll go to Eleanor's Tea, learn all about Eleanor Roosevelt. We will go whale watching. We'll go for a meal together. I plan to take you on a hike. We'll visit the Roosevelt, Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt's 19-bedroom, I think, cottage that's here on the island. It's now the only international park in the world. There's just something magical. I'm in Campobello right now, and there's something magical about the energy here. We have the highest tides in the world. The ocean is all around us, and occasionally, as we're in class, we get interrupted by whales or seals or dolphins out in the bay, just and sometimes sharks, but not as often sharks, just in front of us. Quite often people jump up, I see a whale. And so it can be distracting, but it's such a lovely distraction to be sitting here and having the animals join us. And we usually have bald eagles and herons and just all kinds of, this is a bird sanctuary, this island as well. The puffins aren't too far away. They're too far away for us to see, but it's just an incredible place. So I love to share it with people. And in September, if you are in Asia, I'm really excited to be bringing a lot of my classes to Hong Kong, including healthcare Reiki for the first time in Hong Kong. So would love to have you join us there. And for those of you who've already studied with me, animal communication, we've got a special evening planned for the animal communication students just to bring you up to speed with the interesting energies that have been around, especially since visiting with the African animals. There's been a bit of a shift there. And we'll actually wind up spending, I believe, the equinox together or very close to the equinox. So I'm just couldn't be more excited. For those of you who are near New York, I'll be teaching at the Wisdom of Reiki conference or speaking at the Wisdom of Reiki conference about animal communication, along with some of the top Reiki teachers on the planet. Would love to have you join us the beginning of June there. If you haven't already signed up, I believe there's still room. So go ahead and check out the Wisdom of Reiki conference at the Omega Institute. And then the long weekend, the long Labor Day weekend, is the International Reiki Retreat in Sedona, Arizona. I'll also be speaking there. Would love to see you there in person, but if in person isn't available to you, and there are still spots, it's half full, it's half sold out, halfway to sold out, but there are still spots available and are a little more than halfway sold out. But online is unlimited. And so if travel isn't really possible for you and you'd love to attend in a very economic and wonderful way. I attended online last year and it was fantastic. So would love to have you join us for that. So there's a lot of things going on. Super excited about what's happening this spring and summer and fall. Dr. Kate, what have you got going on? I know you mentioned you've just returned back to the US from Ecuador. Do you have anything that you'd like to let people know about?
First, I'd like to say that all sounds incredible. This is a woman who is on top of her game. You know exactly what you're doing and how you're going to get there. And I was just listening to all that in awe. Wow, that's incredible.
Oh, thank
So,
you. I love to plan and I love to, I know that we're also discussing the possibility of going back to Africa next winter, probably next February. So yeah, just so many wonderful and exciting things going on. I love my life.
that's fantastic. That I aspire. I'm getting there. And it's been a big transition from us coming back from being expats in Ecuador for almost 5 years. We
Wow.
moved back to my hometown in Ohio very suddenly and unexpectedly. Winter has been brutal. So
Oh,
I've been
yes.
saying I've been spending the last 6 months mourning my old life. And now I'm like, okay, it's spring, Easter, resurrection. I am ready to have that spring back forth within me. So I listen to all that and I say, hey, I can do those amazing things too. So we'll just see what happens.
You certainly can. You
See
have
what happens.
an incredible background. And yes, winter has been rough. And even this Easter weekend, it still had a hold on us. We had some snow, we had freezing rain, hail, wind, all the things, even here on the island, which is at the southernmost part of New Brunswick where I live. So usually it's a little warmer here by now. Yeah.
I'm grateful the sun is shining. I'm still in a sweater, but that is okay.
Yes.
Surely it will get warm again, and we will be
And
here
it will
for
come
it.
and then we'll complain about the heat. Everyone, I'm just going to invite everyone to bring your hands into Gasho and just go into a short meditation today to just really connect with our bodies. This discussion is a lot about the physicalness, which I think sometimes gets missed when we do energy work. We can shift the energies and the emotions and even the spiritual energies so effectively and easily, but we often, the physical gets left out. So just take a moment to settle into your seat and just arrive here, feeling your feet on the ground or the support of your chair. And bring your awareness to the breath. Activate Reiki. Place your hands comfortably on your body and just drop your attention out of your mind and into your body. Feel your feet and your legs and your hips. And just imagine roots growing down from your body, anchoring you into the earth, growing all the way down to the groundwater and to the bedrock underneath the groundwater. And just feel that stability now. And just notice the presence of Reiki, allowing it to move through your body, into your muscles and your tissue and your breath and your belly and your heart. And just feel into that, noticing what happens when your body opens itself to receive. And these have been very trying times, so we invite you to let your nervous system soften, let your shoulders drop, your breath deepen, and just notice how the energy begins to settle and land. It's here to stay. Take a deeper breath in now, and on the exhale, just notice how grounded and present and held you are. And whenever you feel ready, you can come back, opening your eyes, back into the room that you're in, but with Reiki fully activated and working within you. And that way, our discussion will come to you through that beautiful filter of Reiki, helping you to grow and shift in the ways that are the most appropriate to you. Thank you. Kate, I just wonder if you can take us back to the beginning. What first led you into chiropractic work, and how did Reiki find you along the way?
Sure. I was doing my undergraduate work in exercise science, and my kind of love affair with movement and curiosity about the physical body started way before. I taught aerobics in high school. I learned to personal train. So I've always been pretty physically oriented. And as I'm making my way through undergrad, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. And I thought I landed on OBGYN. I thought, if I could be present in the miracle of life and birth, then maybe I would have some of life's mysteries solved. I would figure something out. But then I watched One Too Many Bringing Home Baby on TLC. Do you remember that show that was on?
No, I
And
don't
I was
watch much
like,
TV.
why are these women so unhealthy? Why are so many of them being pushed into C sections?
Right.
Why? And then they're just gonna give you a baby and tell you to go home. And so I started questioning, where could I have the most impact on the lives of women,
Mhm.
including those that are growing families and having babies. And I just remember being drawn to the knowing that my mom had always gone to a chiropractor since before I was born. And she had a wonderful experience with it. So that kind of got the ball rolling. And I thought maybe I should do that instead. And I am not that great at planning and not that great at researching. That's not how I'm designed. So I found out where her doctor went to school. It was in Chicago. I'm from Ohio. I was like, okay, I'll just go there. And
Right. It worked.
and it worked, and I learned all about the body, and chiropractic can do amazing things, and it also leaves some things on the table, right? No one
Mm.
system has all of the answers, not all of the solutions. After I graduated, I found myself in East Tennessee, which was another surprise. I had 2 job opportunities down there, and I was like, "I've never even heard of these places." But I said, "Okay, where is the one I'm being drawn to?" It was a real small town at the base of the Smoky Mountains called Maryville, but if you're from there, it's called Maryville,
Okay.
and
I
it's
love Tennessee. I love it, and I
oh my
do
gosh,
and I go to a chiropractor too. Love it.
okay. It's incredible, it's beautiful, and that's where I met my husband, so I figured out there was a plan there was a reason for me being pulled there or called there, and that was all wonderful. After I started in practice, I had done some in-depth nutritional training with nutrition response testing. Have you heard of
I
that maybe?
haven't.
Where a lot of things based on muscle testing, right? And what is the
Sure.
body telling you in regards to what it's asking for, where the deficiencies are, and so forth. And that opened me up to so many things. I had people coming into my practice that were telling me about emotional freedom technique and body talk and Reiki and sound therapy. And my mind was just blown. I'm from small town Kenton, Ohio. I didn't know there were other spices than salt and pepper until I left. And so it was a whole new world. And I was like, I want to learn all these things. I want to do these things. And I found an amazing Reiki teacher. It was actually a couple. They were married. My husband and I both went through each of the attunements. And I can't remember if it was after Reiki 1 or Reiki 2 and the attunement. It was just like a dam broke and my
Mhm.
intuition opened for what
Mhm.
felt like the first time in my whole life. And I
Yeah.
felt like I had access to all the answers in the universe. And it was this incredible rush, this incredible feeling. And that's where everything started and the adventure began. Anything I thought I had figured out before that, it was like it's anything could happen now. Who knows? It'll be an
Mhm.
adventure, and it has been for sure.
I love that. And something I found the same thing after Reiki level 2, that's when animal communication came in for me. My intuition just blew wide open after Reiki level 2. And even my young daughter, she was 9 years old when she studied Reiki, and she studied at the level 2 as a 9-year-old, and it blew her intuition open as well. And yeah,
Very
I
cool.
love how that works. And so once that intuition opened, that must have been a little tricky for you because you've worked at both ends of the spectrum. Like you've worked with the physical body and you've worked with the energetic body. So, what was the moment or the series of moments when you realized these two worlds are connected?
I'm a little embarrassed to say how or to share how late in the game that realization actually came because I'm doing the Reiki. I'm saying this prayer over and over. Dear God, tell me what to do, tell me what to say, make me a channel of your healing works in this world. Guide my thoughts, my words, my actions. And so I'm playing a lot in the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. And then I have people that come in to be adjusted.
Yeah.
But it's like never the two worlds shall cross, right? There are people, they just want to be adjusted. And these people only want to play in what I call the fun realm or the
Yep.
this place of the unknown and the unseen and the energetic. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago in the expat experience of being in Ecuador, I actually started to do some work again after an extended sabbatical. And I was doing more chiropractic, and I suddenly became obsessed with feet. And I was watching all of these older expats walk, and I was looking at the kind of shoes they had on because these people could not stay upright. And I say that a little tongue in cheek, but I did
Really?
some foot classes and fall prevention workshops. And you ask how many people had fallen, and every single hand goes up. One lady had double black eyes sitting in the class
Wow.
because her fall had been super recent. And it was like this light bulb moment that you're falling down because you can't feel your feet. They're wearing
Oh.
these really rigid shoes with a high stack,
Mm,
lots of arch support, these hokas, these and they say, "Oh, I'm walking on clouds." You have millions of proprioceptors in your feet. And that's a big word for something that means data collectors. They are
sure.
feeling the ground beneath you and they are sending all of that information back to your brain. And if your brain isn't hearing the signal, it's like wearing earmuffs over your ears and wondering why you can't hear very well. So that's like the initiating thing that says there's a disconnect between my mind and between my body. My nervous system can't is spending so much effort trying to keep me upright that it's costing me. It's not energetically efficient. So we're losing 20, 30 to 40% of all the life force energy available to us that we could be using to heal, to take action, to create the life we say we want. But we're exhausted because it takes so much effort to coordinate things like walking.
Wow. I
And it was
literally have never thought of it that way before.
It was mind blowing. So of course I'm like, am I crazy? Am I making this up? And I'm going into Chat GPT and I'm like, prove me wrong. Tell me all the reasons why this chain of events isn't true. And it was like, yeah, it is true. So I've lived in that world of wanting to be all energy and wanting to be in a different dimension and not wanting to necessarily have the connection between my body, right? Because this life is hard, it's uncomfortable, we don't love it. So we're conditioned to want to be in a different space. But we only get to that different space through here. If we didn't need the physical body, we wouldn't have it. right? So spirit comes down. I believe a grounding force from the earth comes up. That's what animates our physical experience. And if we work within the system, it can be a lot more fun than trying to force our way around, right? The only way is through. And that was the moment where I was like, holy smokes, because I love to create courses and schematics and protocols and do this and then do that. And so having this light bulb moment, I was like, are you kidding me? You went through all that chiropractic training and there's nothing in your coursework that says, hey, the body's important. Let's talk about that first. And that was the
Really?
impetus for creating Body First. That is where that came from. Because once we can coordinate complicated movement, which sounds like what do those words even mean? The most complicated movement we make most times is walking, but we don't think about it. So we have all of these compensations, we have the shoes that interrupt the patterning. And it's, yeah, if we can put the body first, reclaim all that life force energy that's being tied up in the inefficiency, then we can move mountains both in the energetics and in the real life day to day physicality of the world we really live in. I get really excited.
This is good. I'm excited now too because here's something I'm thinking about myself and I have knees that I inherited that are a little bit arthritic and they can be problematic. And one of the things that's been recommended is insoles. And I do find that, and I walk a lot. Actually, we have 4 dogs. My daughters were home. We had 6 dogs with us this weekend, and we're constantly out walking dogs, and I love that. But I do find that the insoles are helpful. I also am aware that I haven't yet found the right shoe for me, and I've tried some barefoot, but it sometimes then aggravates these super high arches that I have. You mentioned the sneakers and the complex movement, and what is it that you do recommend there? Because I know that there's still something, there's a piece missing. I have an aggravated Achilles tendon right now
Mhm.
from walking so much on the ice and just having to walk carefully with grippers on so
Right.
I don't fall and not and wearing more of a winter boot to walk through the snow rather than a shoe. And so what did you find? What did you notice?
First, your toes need space to splay, right? When you
Mm,
push off to walk, your toes are meant to spread. But our shoes, our feet have become shoe shaped instead of our shoes being foot shaped. So many of our shoes, even our tennis shoes, try to put us into a kind of pointier or narrow toe box.
yes.
That's number one. Toe, you have to be able to wiggle your piggies all around in your shoes. Number 2, a lot of people jump on the barefoot wagon, and
Mhm.
I am a big lover of barefoot shoes. The problem is the disconnect between decades of wearing shoes that have done all of the work for you. They
Okay.
prevent your pronation, they support your arches, they do all the work, so we've created really dumb feet.
I am gonna be buying a different pair, I think, maybe of barefoot shoes after our talk today.
Well, there's more, but wait, there's more.
Okay.
And so the first thing we have to do is start strengthening those foot muscles.
Mhm.
And they're not getting a workout from walking. Because I'll ask people, oh, yeah, I strengthen my feet. I walk all the time. You walked all the time before in your other shoes. So what's changed? What's different? You have a lot of what are called intrinsic foot muscles. They don't cross your ankle. All their sole job is to make an arch like this. So,
Wow.
a good way to check, are my feet awake and wise, or have they been put to sleep and numb? Is to see if you can sit there and make an arch. If you can slide the base of your toes towards your heels without scrunching your toes into the floor.
Okay.
So, can you lift your toes and make an arch like this?
I think I can.
Does it move?
Although I'm feeling it in one of my arches.
That's where the muscles are that are making the
Yeah.
arch. So if you can, that lets you know that there is some work that you have done there. Most people can't feel that at all. Most people get maybe the thought of movement.
Okay, I
The
do
thought of
ankle
movement.
exercises every morning, but I think yeah, I think I have to add to it.
So
So
the tricky part is making the transition from something that has so much structure, rigidity, cushion, and going straight to a barefoot shoe when you haven't strengthened your feet muscles, when you haven't
fair.
worked on hip mobility, because it all goes up the chain. And your knees are typically feeling what's coming up from your feet or what's coming down from your hips. And we get told that word arthritis and oh, if there was a word I could get rid of in medical diagnosis and terminology, because we take that word and we're like, oh yeah, I got the arthritis. There's
I'm not
you're
taking it. I'm using Reiki.
yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, nope, I'm not gonna have an operation. I'm doing all that I can. I'm doing s and
Mm,
I'm doing strengthening for my legs, and I'm
that's
gonna keep
wonderful.
walking." I've witnessed my father lose his mobility
Mm,
this winter when he crushed a vertebra in his spine, and I
mm.
was just like, "No, I want to have my mobility into my hundreds."
Keep on moving, don't stop. Absolutely. But sometimes we get so attached to our story. It's yeah, you should just sit on the couch and give up.
No.
Just there's nothing you can do.
That's what I watched my dad do, and I really believe that's what led to
Yeah,
the osteoporosis and led to the
right.
and whereas my mom, she's 82 and we just got her new curling shoes for Christmas, and she's telling me like, "Now I'm just getting them broken in now."
New curling shoes, like the
To go
Olympic
curling,
sport
yeah,
curling?
drop dropping the rock
Okay,
and yeah, oh yeah.
I love it.
She
That's
we had to go
fantastic.
we had to go down and help dad certain days so that she could go curling, and
It is a difference. I love the old adage, we don't grow old and stop playing, we stop playing
grow
old.
old. That's so
And
true, and in
movement
centered riding, we say move or rust. In French, it rhymes. It's roi ou groi, rust. Yeah.
that's in a lot of things we say, "Oh, I'm just getting older." Is it lack of use? Because it's true, if we don't use it, we lose it. Get up off the ground several
Yeah.
times a day. Tie your shoes while you're standing up. Those Skechers, oh my gosh, those Skechers commercials where they're like, "You don't even have to bend over anymore to put your shoes on." Just, are you kidding me? What are you trying to do? We're already in dire straits with health in America, and yeah,
Well,
let's just make it easier to slip into complacency.
we do need I don't know. I think I know even I do walk a lot, but I know I want more activity, and I've been putting it into my life, and yeah, I agree. Tell me something. You used the word body first. Can you
Mhm.
tell me what that means, especially as it pertains to Reiki practitioners who they're coming at what we do from an energetic standpoint. How does this translate?
Okay, we've been taught a lot, or it gets talked about a lot anyway. I don't know if we've been taught anything, but there's this mind body connection. And I was always taught or conditioned to believe that mind controls body. The mind says this is what we're going to do, and the body does it. But what I realized is that our body is like our earth ship. It's our vessel for this earthly experience. And just like when you go, the astronauts that are in space going around the moon, their spaceship is giving them all kinds of feedback and information about what's going on. And our bodies are the same thing. So I like to say body mind connection, and that the flow is from the body to the mind rather than mind to body. So that connection for us to move through in an aligned way, it has to be there. But what happens is that the body becomes an uncomfortable place to be, whether it is pain, whether it's trauma, whatever it is. So we begin to dissociate and then we begin to think. And oh my goodness, are we such great thinkers and dissectors and analyzers? And oh, I want to understand. I want to know about my trauma. I want to learn all of these things. But without connection to the body, there's no integration. So I feel like we've created a culture of healing where we are hyper aware, where we are acutely aware of what is wrong, but nothing gets integrated. And so we spin. We circle in that place and we're always looking for the next thing we have to let go of, the next thing we have to fix, the next thing that's wrong with us. And I've been in that place. I am speaking from experience here, and it's exhausting. I did all of those things, and I was like, "Why am I still so miserable? Why?" And so, in learning to put body first, to activate all of the 7 systems that coordinate motion and integration, it sets my mind up for clarity. And I no longer go down routes that are ego driven or that I've thought about that I'm trying to force. And I feel like the benefit there, especially in terms of Reiki practitioners that are working on other people, is if you're standing so solid on your own foundation and the things you are doing are integrated and grounded into your body, you're going to be so much less likely to take on anybody else's stuff. I hear that all the time. We call it empathy, but empathy is the ability to feel
It's
what
actually
another person.
imbalanced. It's actually imbalanced
I call it
empathy. Toxic,
toxic
okay.
empathy. As soon
I
as you carry it for them, as
Yeah.
soon as you assign yourself responsibility for it, that's not empathy anymore.
Mhm.
That's a very distorted version of that word, I would
Well, and it's
say.
not
So it
helpful.
helps you hold the space and send the energy, but what it is. And then you leave that session, you were a clear channel because the energy flows so much more efficiently through an efficient nervous system. You feel great and recharged, and they leave, and you don't have to carry any of their stuff with you.
Yeah.
The
I think this is
benefit in terms of doing Reiki on yourself is that you're no longer impeding the flow.
right. Yeah,
I
no.
remember when I did a lot more energy work and Reiki, I would just have this sense like, wow, the door is wide open. All they have to do is walk through, and like the land of milk and honey, whatever you want, you can have. And what I realized, when they would get up off the table, they would close the door and just crack it and just peek through or take such a tiny bit of what was made available to them. And I was like, why? Or you have that person that comes in and they're healed, they have an amazing experience, and then 2 weeks later, the stuff starts coming back. The symptom, the whatever it was, and it's that hiccup in in integration.
Yes.
That's a hill I will die on.
In centered writing, we you just talked about the mind and how we can dissect and analyze and
Mhm,
think. And it's true, and I'm guilty of that for sure. But I also realize that we've been trained to use the mind from a very young age. In centered writing, it's very important in order to really improve somebody's riding. And with horseback riding, you need to be in physical union and connection with the horse. You need to be aligned in order for them to be able to be aligned. And it's really a lot of what you're talking about.
mhm,
And as I was learning that, you actually deliberately move people out of the mind and into the body because with the mind, I can give you 400 instructions as to what to do, or I can move you into your body and just demonstrate it. And the 400 instructions, you still won't get it because you won't have the nuances and so on. And
mhm,
I can remember one of the presentations or in one of the clinics when it was said that if it was up to our mind to operate our body's systems, we would be dead in seconds. If the mind had to be like, fill the lungs, breathe now, heart you need to beat, and now renal system do this over here. It would take no
yeah,
time. Yeah, I really can get behind this moving into the body. And I also think that it can be the area that gets left behind. Carolyn Musial once said that she finds we can accomplish such incredible healing mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And sometimes it's like the physical body is in a jogging suit, sweating profusely, going, wait for me behind. And I've
mm,
noticed that myself. I've noticed healthcare Reiki has caused me to really, the Reiki that I learned really helped me so much emotionally with that imbalanced empathy. It helped me so much spiritually with some deep spiritual injuries. It helped me mentally, but the physical, did get left behind. And I'm noticing that healthcare Reiki is helping me address some of that right now. And I think talking to you is probably part of that. So tell us, Dr. Kate, how does the nervous system influence our ability to receive Reiki, either when we're doing self Reiki or as we're a practitioner offering a session?
So it goes back to that efficiency, right? When you are not coordinating movement, when your feet can't be the data collectors they're designed to be, when you're not breathing properly and your rib cage isn't expanding, it's like the Reiki energy has to go through this maze
Mm.
to get from source to wherever it needs to go. And when you are clear, when you're efficient, when you're aligned, it's a direct line. There's no impedance, there's no friction. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And I've noticed even I actually get an image of that as I'm working with someone who has an illness or a serious injury. I often notice that energetically there can be a lack of alignment. And as the Reiki aligns the energy, then everything, the body knows how to heal itself. And that's what we train or teach, that the Reiki energy doesn't actually do the healing. It just moves everything into alignment, it fills the gas tank,
Mhm.
and then the body knows with its innate wisdom how to heal itself. But when it's not aligned, yes, I know
It's like there's
exactly.
so much congestion, it has to make it through first, and it's also the difference between being able to maintain alignment and alignment being fleeting. And when
Yeah.
I say body first and those signals, this is not a complicated, time intensive endeavor you have to go on. This is like a little bit of toe movement, some vestibular ocular coordination, some breath work where the lungs actually expand in the rib cage instead of it moving as a unit up and down. And you go through and you activate each system, takes maybe a few minutes, and then the Reiki can move more in that direct line than spend so much effort just clearing the congestion. So this is like the capacity to compound the effects. It's not every time you go in, you're getting your gas tank filled and
Mhm.
then you empty your gas tank because
Right.
you come out of alignment. You maintain the alignment in the next session, everything builds
Yeah.
rather than starting from scratch. And I just wanted to touch on what you mentioned before with the mind and body, because sometimes I remember looking back and thinking, where did it all go wrong? And I landed on about age 6, because that's when we're forced to wear shoes, sit down, the logical mind
Yeah.
becomes fully developed, and we learn we're supposed to think about everything. But
Right.
you look pre-6, these kids running around with no shoes on, squatting perfectly,
Yes.
moving naturally. I was like, "That's it. That's why I had so many problems. My feet never wanted to be in shoes. I didn't wanna sit down or think about it all." So I just wanted to share that.
That makes so much sense. So, what are some practical tools, some practical
Mhm.
tips that we can give people so that they can move into structural alignment? I know that this is probably something that you do in your sessions, but what are some practical tips and tools that we can leave people with today? What are some examples? What would
Mhm.
you like to see us doing?
The first thing I would do is look at your toes and see, are they the widest part of your foot?
No.
Okay. So, this is one of those things that's pretty simple, right? The question is, will you do it? Go buy some toe spacers.
Oh,
Toe spacers will change your life if you use them frequently for longer and longer durations and over a long period of time. Now, toe spacers, there are all kinds of different ones out there, and sometimes you have to try a few different brands before you find the ones that are going to work best for you. One of the coolest things about being in Ecuador, that you could go to a podiatrist and they took a mold of your feet and made toe spacers that were specific, were custom to your feet. It was a couple $100. I would imagine it would be a lot more here. And maybe there are podiatrists here that will do that. But my mom likes her Zen toes. You can get them at Walmart. I found a pair on Temu that I really like and love. But the trick is Don't wear them for 8 hours all at once. Don't sleep in them overnight. Build up an hour to 2 hours. Get shoes with a toe box wide enough so that you can wear your toe spacers in the shoes. I
Oh.
have seen toe spacers fix flattened arches. As soon as the toe spacers come in, the arch picks up. It's incredible.
Now my arches are too high. Does it when
They too high?
they're really high,
Yeah.
really high.
It's not
Does
going
it
to it's
help with
not
that?
if that's not a problem, it's not gonna try to fix it, you know what I mean? So, do that, and then let that lead you down the rabbit hole of foot strengthening exercises, and then
Okay.
once your feet become really strong, look at changing shoes to more of a minimalist shoe that you like every shoe I own, you can roll up into a ball.
That's helpful for traveling too.
Yeah, it is. They're very lightweight. You don't have to decide which 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. You can take all of your shoes. The problem I see is when people try to make the transition too quickly without strengthening their feet, and then they'll say, "Oh, barefoot shoes were the worst." And there are a few brands that are like in betweeners. There's a brand on Amazon, Witten, Whitin, that has their barefoot style shoes, but they still have a little bit of cushion.
Okay.
Because some barefoot shoes, you're gonna feel every pebble underneath the ground, and
Yeah.
that's not gonna be comfortable until your feet toughen up a little bit. So there are options and then step down,
Mhm.
going more minimal and more minimal each time. Simplest thing, get toe spacers.
Okay.
The next recommendation I would make is to be in front of a mirror, or in our case, in front of a camera, have somebody film you or watch yourself in the bathroom mirror. Take a deep breath and notice, is your rib cage going up and down like it's one piece, like this? Or is it expanding three-dimensionally? Because this is what it should be doing. Our lungs should be blowing up like balloons, and all of those ribs move, the thoracic spine moves. But most people, when you say take a deep breath in, they go,
Mm.
like that. And to take a real deep breath where you're not shoving it into your belly and you're not using the accessory muscles of breathing, your neck and shoulders, it looks like expansion. And I don't know how much you can see that here, but
Mm.
that's what it should feel like. And that's
For those who
really,
are listening, Dr. Flynn is just as if her fingers are
oh,
together and going out and back. And this is something actually breathing is so essential in centered writing. And I wish I had it with me here, but I actually have a thing that I show people about how that expansion of the lungs does need to be three-dimensional because the best way that we can keep horses, which are a flight animal, calm and able to work with and focused is it always goes back to the breath. We
breath.
have to be able to breathe with our whole body. If we don't breathe, they don't breathe, and
Mm.
everything moves. And if we hold our breath or if we're taking shallow breaths, that's automatically putting us into fight or flight.
It so does. That tips the
Mhm.
nervous system towards the sympathetic vibe, and that makes everything else more challenging. So much focus is on breath work, but so many people aren't breathing properly. So you can do breath work and actually become more anxious.
Or you can
Become
you can do breath work and breathe that way while you're doing breath work and not have it move into your everyday life.
right. So there is a right way to breathe. Forget about how many counts in and how many counts to hold and how many counts out. Like,
That's too complicated for me.
mobilize your rib cage. And a real simple way you can do that, I know, thank you for reminding me that some people are going to be listening only and not able to see, but a simple exercise you can do is put your fingertips on your shoulders, round through your upper back, bring your elbows together and drop your chin to your chest. And then inhale, look up as far as you can and open your elbows as far away from each other as you can.
Oh, something just cracked in my back. That felt amazing.
That starts to get things to articulate, that there's so
Mhm.
many bones in your rib cage and in your thoracic spine, but usually they move as a unit up and down. So that mobilization will help open up the space. And when you go to try to breathe again and feel the expansion, you'll actually be able to. So There is so much out there on like thoracic rib cage mobility. My husband gives me crap for how much scrolling I do, but literally it's all exercises. I am obsessed with the amazing things that our bodies can do for us that we're not
Yes.
taught, especially after 40. So if you're training muscles in isolation to be a bodybuilder, you'll grow that individual muscle, but it's not going to transition to aging. Our muscles are combined in systems through fascia. And when we train in that way, one, we just feel better. And two, that makes the nervous system more efficient too. Yeah, I get
I love
excited.
that. So toe spacers, minimalist shoes or some of those transition shoes. You mentioned one from Walmart that
They carry a brand called Zentos.
Zen toes. Okay,
I
I'm gonna
think they're
check.
like $10. They're blue. They're
Okay.
really stretchy,
Yeah.
and then the ones that I have are a little more rigid. So it's
Mhm.
just gonna be personal preference.
Yeah, and
So many people be barefoot as much as you can. When you're in the house, have your shoes off. Feel
mhm.
the ground beneath you, like, literally all the time. Don't avoid uneven surfaces. The more you avoid them, the worse you're gonna be at navigating them when you're on them. So let your feet be the data collectors that they're meant to be. We are so incredibly intelligently designed.
Yes,
It's mind-blowing,
I
truly.
love that. I love that. So those and then breath and any other tips or advice for us?
Notice what your body wants to do and how it wants to move. I teach
Okay.
just for kind of fun in my own data collection laboratory. I teach a movement class at the Y right now. And I'll say, "How does your body want to move?" And it's like deer in headlights. And these are people that have been going to group exercise or classes for a long time. And it's I don't your body knows what it wants to do, right? Without me telling you, how would your body like to move? And then let it move in those ways. We lose a lot of rotation. We work in flexion and extension, and there's no rotation, and that locks the rib cage down more. So, adding in rotation and intuitively moving your body and seeing where does it want to go from downward dog without me telling you, or that kind of thing.
Just allow. I love this. What are some subtle ways our body can block or limit the energy flow that people might not even be aware of or might not realize?
I would say the impedance comes less from the body and more from the positioning we put the body in.
Okay.
So, things we've already talked about, the shoes, the amount of time sitting without getting up, all of those things are going to dampen the signals coming in. Time spent scrolling, we're
Yeah,
losing
I
the
think we all have
ability
that phone neck.
we're losing the ability to focus, near far focus. And oh, another easy thing you can do, I'll give you one more tip. When you're on your walk, track the birds in the sky with
Oh,
your eyes.
that's gonna be tricky. I go over hills and
I
roots, and
know.
I'm looking at my feet usually to try not to fall down.
Stop looking down.
But
Mhm. Stop it. You can scan the ground in front of you, 20 feet. Your brain knows what's coming, but
Mm,
try to resist that urge to stare down at your feet because then you're walking and that's good for you, but you're walking like this.
right, with the phone neck.
You're really aggravating the forward head carriage, and that's throwing off alignment.
Yeah.
And then your body's spending more energy
I do like
walking.
walking on flat trails so that I don't have to look at my feet. There's
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing things where you have to scramble up boulders and that kind of
I
stuff,
am
you're gonna
usually.
look more. But for most people out taking a walk in the morning, they're gonna be able to.
Track the
And
birds.
everybody's such an overachiever.
Oh, honestly, I speaking of overachieving, I downloaded the Merlin app so that I can identify birds by sound, and just the other day I went out and there were like 13 or 14 birds all around. So I will start tracking the birds. I'm becoming quite bird obsessed. So
It's like you Richard Rohr talks about the first half of life and the second half of life. And for me, I feel like the transition comes when you start paying attention to birds.
really, because I've really only been paying attention to birds for about a year now.
Yeah, and you're like, "Have they always been this amazing? This is incredible, but I've never noticed them before." That to me signaled a pretty big transition in my life for sure. Now, the only way the body is going to impede the energy to move forward is if you're trying to force yourself in a direction where your body doesn't wanna go.
Okay.
And we do that when we're
We do
trying
do
to
that.
go mind to body and we're trying to force things, and you can feel like resistance lives in your mind, apprehension lives in your body. That sick feeling you get when you're in a situation you don't wanna be in, that's your body saying, "This isn't for me." So it will impede you in doing things that are unaligned with where your spaceship is trying to take you. Like, I quit drinking about a year and a half ago, and I had known for a while that it just didn't resonate anymore. But I was in the grocery store and I went to all I had to do was lift my arm and grab a bottle of wine, and I couldn't get my arm to lift.
Oh, wow. So that was
And
your body saying,
it was a very
"Nah,
definitive moment of we're done with this. This is not.
it's not who we
And
are."
I had rationalized it. I didn't drink that much, 2 or 3 drinks a week. And it was like, no. It's just not worth it. The same thing happened with I was trying to put mascara
Mhm.
on, trying to put my feet into real rigid tennis shoes to play pickleball after having a month off where I didn't play and then I couldn't put those shoes on.
Wow.
Your body will direct you every step of the way, but we have to retrain ourselves to listen to it.
It's so funny because I was looking for solutions to this tight Achilles. I haven't had trouble with a tight Achilles for about 6 or 7 years, but I did have about 6 or 7 years ago, and a combination of acupuncture and a few other
Mm,
things got the Achilles comfortable again. And it often happens after winters here, walking in the woods on ice and
mm.
snow. And I think you're giving me the solutions to this tight Achilles, I think.
I would add one thing on to that. We lose reflexive motion. We stop jumping rope. We stop jumping jacks. Everything's, oh, it's got to be low impact. No, it doesn't. Do some heel bounces. Do
Oh,
some, you can find all kinds of stuff for like beginner plyometrics where you're rebounding and you're jumping off. That's what puts the elasticity back into your Achilles. But
interesting.
we lose the resilience. We lose the ability to absorb shock and then respond with power because we're not doing box jumps. We're like, "Oh, my knees. Oh, we got it."
Well,
We
and
have
yeah,
to take it easy, but there are all kinds of creators out there putting out very beginner things. Like, I'm not saying to do jumping split squats off of a bench where you're launching yourself.
I don't think I would be able to,
Try
no.
to hop side to side and forward to back, bound laterally. Little things like that to bring the resilience back into your
You
body.
know, I just even used
Well,
to do jumping jacks, and I don't think
mhm.
I've done those in ages, and I have a small trampoline, but the last time I did use it, I injured my knee, so I was like, "Oh, darn," because I love
I
them so
know a
bad.
lot of people love the trampoline. There's nowhere in your daily life that you're gonna replicate that motion. You
True.
know what I mean?
It
And I
is
know
so much
people
fun,
love
though.
to swim, but we don't. That's not how we get from point A to point B. Not usually, unless you're tracking all those amazing sea creatures you mentioned. I was like, "I wanna go there. I wanna see all that."
This is a pretty cool place,
I
honestly.
bet. Sounds amazing.
Just the other week, I went looking for seals that we normally visit with on our walks, and there weren't it was high tide and they weren't there. And I was a little blue, and actually, this is about a month ago, so it was fairly cold weather. And then I looked, and there was a seal right out front of the house, just looking at me, saying, "No,
Like,
we're
"Here I
here.
am."
We weren't all the way over there, but we're here right in front of your house."
Sometimes that's a good sign. Try to make things so complicated and the solution's far away, and oftentimes what we need is literally right there in front of us.
I love it. How do you, if you look at the integration of physical and energetic healing, and if you look at the evolvement of that, what role do you feel Reiki plays in this future?
I feel like the first thing that's gonna happen if we put body first,
Mhm.
reconnect body to mind, is this transition from always looking outside of ourselves for whatever the solution is to starting by looking within. Because as soon as
Mm.
there's like a hiccup in here, we're on Google. We're telling everybody we know. I want to try acupuncture. I got to get adjusted. I want to do all of these things. And your body's giving you feedback. Each time you reach for something, it's that's not going to work. That's not going to work. But we keep doing it, hoping we're going to land on it. And I feel like if we start turning our attention inward, we're going to interrupt that process. And the presence alone is going to move mountains within us. And
Mm.
what that's going to do for Reiki is it's going to become so much more available to us. Like that wide open doorway I talked about before, it's going to stay open a lot wider than the crack that most of us peek through. So, in that essence, Reiki becomes less something we do or send and more about like that which is our true essence that's always flowing through us, that's always
Yeah.
available to us, that is shining a light on the path forward. That's right now we're in this space of striving. And I feel like it will interrupt that and bring us more into a place of thriving and being.
We are human beings, after all. The horses tell us
Mhm.
that all the time. You're not human doings, you're human beings. Your job is to be human, not to be constantly
Yeah.
doing. And I just want to circle back on something that you'd spoken about earlier, Dr. Kate. You had mentioned about how when you're looking for something to heal, there's always something there. And I had noticed that partway into my journey and actually spoke with my mentor in the licensed teacher program about it with Colleen Benelli. And she said, if you're always looking for something to heal, that is what you will always find. So maybe shift your focus to looking for what to reveal, because at our core, we all have so much beauty, so much magnificence, so much in just our bodies, our minds, our spirits. These are all just this incredible combination, but they do get covered over by injuries and the ways and worries of the world. So instead of looking at the injury, why don't you start looking at
Mhm.
what to reveal, the beauty, the magnificence, the strength of what's underneath all of that. So that was a reframing that has really stayed with me. It really impacted me. And I know with healthcare Reiki, the development of it, Tracy Sullivan and I have been working to create a healthcare Reiki course, and it's that's been a really strong message there as well.
Right.
Kate, what would you like to leave? Is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners that we haven't covered? And if not, what would you like to leave the listeners with today?
This might be something you wanna edit out, I'm not sure, but you know how some people speak in prayer language or light language? Sometimes I hear numbers that
Oh,
come out to activate, so, you say, "What do you wanna say?" And I'm like, 38459186245777738245917.
wow. What does that interpret to you? Just because I don't speak in that language.
Right.
So,
The
hmm.
numbers, the transmissions when they come through, it just bypasses the logical mind because your mind will get stuck on the words and the
Yeah.
definitions and how does this relate to me, and I don't like that, or that's uncomfortable. Whereas the numbers go right into your system and start rewiring some things.
Oh,
So
so you just gave us a gift of numbers to start rewiring things. Thank you.
and sometimes that I'm all about when I started into this, it was like, how fast, how far, how deep can you go?
It's fascinating. I
I'm like,
haven't heard
"What?"
of that. I'm a very much
Yeah.
of a numbers geek and a math geek. I don't hate me to the listeners, but I always loved math and calculus was my jam uh,
Oof.
in
I'm
school.
happy for you.
I know. I just love numbers because they're universal. And I think that whereas language can sometimes limit the numbers are universal. And I think we're really stepping into such a universal consciousness right now. And I think numbers sometimes lead the way. For me, that's not my language. My language is emotions, which again, emotions don't aren't limited. They have all of the subtleties that, and so I'm delighted that I am what considered very an HSP, a highly sensitive person, very empathic. And in fact, for the longest time, Reiki, and that's what Reiki helped me with. I was an imbalanced empath. And Reiki taught me or showed me how to balance that empathy. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just so grateful and thank you. What a wonderful gift and what a wonderful conversation today. I'm so grateful
Happy to share.
that you joined us. Folks, I just want to leave us into a guided meditation, which is meant to put our body first and just help anchor Reiki into our body. And Dr. Kate, if there's anything you want to add at any point, go ahead. But I'm going to go ahead and just lead us into it. So I'm just going to invite everyone to just take a moment once more with both feet on the ground or the floor, bare feet if possible, just to allow your body to settle in again where you are. Notice your breath. And go ahead and place your hands comfortably on your body wherever you feel guided to, following your intuition, and breathe. And as you do, we're going to drop our energy from our thoughts and what's happening in the world into our very own bodies, just here inside. And you might wish to wiggle your toes, move your feet, just feeling that connection to the ground below you. And on every exhale, just feel your body settle and soften. There might be movement all around you, but just like the ducks that rest in the ocean, above the waves, we can remain in an energy, an elevated energy, even in the midst of chaos. And when we choose to do that, us remaining in that higher elevation can impact as many as 90 people around us. So even if there's movement around us, thoughts, sensations, emotions, the news cycle, beneath all of that, in our bodies, there's a steadiness, a surety, just a quiet place within us that knows how to be. I invite you to become aware of that right now. And we'll just spend a few deep breaths in that. And as you breathe, just invite your ribs to open in all of the dimensions. Expanding and contracting. And bring your awareness to the base of your spine now. The bottoms of your feet, and just come back to those soft, steady roots that grew down deep into the earth, all the way to the groundwater and the bedrock beneath. And we're not going to push or force anything, just naturally feeling the energy extend. And with each breath, those roots get deeper. They anchor you, support you, hold you. We just invite Reiki now to release any bracing, any limitations that we may have unknowingly placed upon ourselves, upon our physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional bodies. You can imagine them just sinking down into the earth through the roots or moving up into the heavens, just uncovering some of the magnificence that is who we are authentically at the core of our being, just releasing some of those ways and worries of the world. We invite Reiki to just assist us in this and assist with the discernment, tapping into the wisdom of the body. And just opening the different channels within us that can bring Reiki energy through. And just inviting the Reiki energy to expand within our bodies. And to just flow. And if there are any spots where you notice the flow is impeded, if there are any detours that are set up within your body, we just invite Reiki to open those channels now and improve the flow. And as the Reiki energy flows within us, just notice that it's softening the muscles. And if there are any tight spots, it just releases the holding, the tension. Take a moment to think about your hips and just allow the body to open. We often have a bit of a holding pattern in our hips. You may even have a conversation with them to let them know that it's safe. It's safe to soften, to open in its own time and in its own way, allowing the body to lead. And we draw our attention to our belly next, just where so many of us hold our emotions. And just inviting that alignment there. Letting go of anything that no longer serves us. And just notice how that feels, how your body responds to this. And the body's always listening, always aware. And as we often do, we will move our attention to our heart space now. And we just allow Reiki to set up camp here, rest here, remain here. And so often when I work with people, we all have injuries in our hearts, animals too. Quite often the Reiki energy moves through those heart-based injuries, and that Japanese tradition of when pottery breaks, of repairing it with gold and making the pottery stronger and even more valuable than it was before. That's what the energy, the Reiki energy, does to any heart injuries or heartbreak that we're experiencing. And So if that's valid for you, just allow that process to take place. Beautiful healing, expansion. And I was shown recently that when I lost my horses, that when the heart breaks, so that it can remake itself larger, stronger. And go ahead and allow this if that feels right for you. A gentle expansion. And just notice from here that your breath is probably slowed down a bit. And that's allowed your nervous system to soften and move into alignment. And that allows your body to receive the message that it's safe. It's safe to open, to receive, to feel. The energy begins to root. Rather than pass through, it starts to anchor within us. We become the energy. It's finding its home in our body. Just take a moment here just to notice what it feels like as the energy lands, as the energy takes up space and remains. And sometimes the energy flows, but sometimes it stays, and both are beautiful. Today we allow it to stay. And as you bring your awareness to your whole body, from your feet to your heart to your breath, go ahead and ask the question that Dr. Kate suggested. What do you need in this moment? What do you need to feel even more at home here on this earth, in this space, to expand and grow and be in a place of health and joy and peace and comfort? What do you need? What can I do for you? And just listen. There's nothing that you need to do, just listen. Take a deeper breath in again. And on the exhale, just feel yourself fully here. So often we walk around somewhat dissociated with our energy lifted up out of the lower chakras. Feel yourself fully in your body, fully supported. Notice what that feels like. And you may wish to form an intention to remain in this space or come back to it often, or to have your body when you're doing Reiki, move into this. Whenever you're ready to come back, you can wiggle your toes, your fingers, stretch, and open your eyes, but bring that grounded presence with you. Knowing that Reiki isn't something that you access from outside of yourself, it's something you can hold within your body. It's something you can be. So I invite you to come back in your own time, bringing your attention to your eyes and your breath. Slowly opening your eyes and returning with that grounded presence remaining with you. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you for joining us here today. Thank you to the listeners. We appreciate you and the beautiful light that you're spreading on the planet, the 90 plus people you're influencing by remaining in this frequency. And I want to say thank you to Dr. Kate for joining us and being with us here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.